Good evening, Justice Warriors. It's been a long time since I've said that, huh? That was my catchphrase that my viewers named themselves when we got started with this process a few years ago. So it is October 27th. We're getting close to Halloween. I'm in the middle of reading a phenomenal book I highly recommend. It is a little spendy, but I'd say worth every penny. I picked mine up at Barnes and Noble, and it was over $30 with tax. Nobody's Girl by Virginia Giuffre came out a week ago tomorrow. So I might be done with it by tomorrow night, but I kind of doubt it. I've gotten 2/3 of the way through it. I think I have just over 100 pages left. You know, when you get close towards the end of a good book, then you don't want to finish it, right? You want to drag it out. But I do have other books that I want to read too. So I really do want to get finished with this. And I want to share with you some of the things that have been kind of sticking points for me in the last day, because I did my last live with you yesterday. Spoke about the book quite a bit, spoke about Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk quite a bit. I really feel like there's a connection between the two that's obvious to me, but not that many people are talking about it. But fortunately, other people are talking about it. I'm glad to see that, because I think it's really imperative. I think it's really important looking at what I see as a crisis that our country and that our democracy is in right now, that really revolves all around these freaking Trumpstein files and the closing down of the government. Anna Bees, woohoo! How's it going, my dear one? Hey, Jazz, how are you doing? I'm at the eye doctor right now. Well, good. I'm glad you're getting your eyes checked. That's always smart. I'm doing great. And your day, I hope, is going well. It's so annoying keeping appointments, isn't it? They drive me nuts. I feel like appointments ruin my life, but then you got to remember it's good to have appointments. It's good to stay on track with your health and with your healthcare providers, and that we're fortunate to be able to afford healthcare providers, right? I mean, how sad is this whole thing with the government shutdown and the insurance, the health insurance crisis, and the SNAP benefits crisis? It's really pissing me off. I have a lot going on right now. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, my dear. Thank you for coming in and saying hi. I appreciate it. I don't think I'll be able to stay on too long, maybe about half an hour or 40 minutes, but I wanted to hop on anyway, because any time that I miss a day doing a live, I don't enjoy my day as much. I get a lot out of doing this. So let me do my thing. Everything I say is simply my opinion. Hit your like button. I'm hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. All of the videos that I make are for the tube of you and the tube of me. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Turn on your notification bell to ring. And comment in the chat, comment in the comment section, comment away. Your feedback is priceless. It's all so deplorable. The regime doesn't care about any of us. No, the regime doesn't even care about the regime. I mean, kind of, but not really. I think that these maniacal narcissists, they're so malignant, they're so toxic, and all they care about is themselves. That's abundantly clear. It almost seems like they might care about their friends, but they don't have friends. They care about themselves. So they only care about people who might be able to impact them negatively. They want to keep their thumb on that pulse and manage it. They want to hold people down. They want to abuse people, especially people that aren't white dudes, right? And so it's really racist. It's really sexist. It's really homophobic. It really has to do with self-loathing. In my opinion, these are people who don't like themselves, and so they project it onto other people. But the whole thing with Charlie Kirk and his heinous assassination and all the funkiness around that. What, nobody called 911? Did the police ever show up? Did any, I don't know, first responders ever show up to where that happened? That's not suspicious at all. Oh, yeah. And then tying that right in with the whole Virginia Giuffre book. So she does mention the Tenacious D more than once. I told you when the first time I saw the mention of him by name on page 86, and it was mentioning him and the Mrs., the mail order bride, the spy versus spy. And then I just saw another mention, and there might be others that I wasn't paying such close attention to. If anybody has been reading it and wants to correct me. So there's at least the two. And where was the other one? I wrote it down. It's taking a lot of notes. Page 222, which was funny because as I was approaching page 222, I was literally getting like a spidey sixth sense that was going to be a sticking point for me. I was like, what's on page 222? Like I was feeling it. And then he was named. I'll go ahead and read that to you. How are you, Billy darling? I mean, Billied. Hey, Anna. Hey, Jazzy. Every horrible thing I keep thinking, this is it. This has to get them thrown out. But nothing happens to them. I know, Anna Bees. It is discouraging at times, but I really try to keep my chin up and recognize that things have to get worse in order for them to get better. And the more this crazy stuff that they do, the worse it's going to be for them. Like the whole thing with knocking down the East Wing, obviously it was out of rage, in my opinion, from the day after. I think he started with that the day after the No Kings, and he had done the poop video of him in the fighter jet, not getting oxygen. You know, he had his oxygen mask on, not over his nose. So what, he's trying to kill himself? I mean, he's just that stupid. Anyway, like, what about the asbestos that's being released all through DC? I think that type of impulsivity and what's the word I'm looking for? No impulse control. We can only wish. Yeah, and it's going to catch up with them. It'll all bite them on the rear end. I do believe it. Let me read you the bottom of 222 real quick, where he is mentioned. And he's mentioned in the footnote, actually. So I'll just read you the footnote. Only later would it become clear that little E had been shunned by at least one powerful person he'd previously wooed, DJT. In their 2020 book called The Grifters Club, Tenacious D, Mar-a-Lago, and the Selling of the Presidency, journalists Sarah Blakely, Nicholas Nahamas, Caitlin Ostroff, and Jay Weaver reported that Tenacious D ended Little E's membership at Mar-a-Lago and banned him from visiting in October 2007 after Little E hit on the teenage daughter of another member. That was a month after Little E had entered into the secret non-prosecution agreement with the government, but 8 months before he made a plea deal. So, yeah, I don't trust these four authors. I don't trust that report. So it was okay for him to hit on everybody else's daughters, just not this one person. And, the Tenacious D himself finally even admitted that no, he was upset not about him hitting on teenage girls at the club. He was upset about him stealing his people, his spa people. And then he said, I don't care if they're spa or not spa. I don't want him stealing my slaves. I mean, people, right? That was nuts. But he let the cat out of the bag. And they became friends probably somewhere around 1990. They were like besties up until somewhere around 2005, give or take. I think that there was $1 billion, I think, paid from Tenacious D to Little E in the period of their relationship. But right now, we're at the beginning of this investigation of Tim Mellon, who is one of Little E's associates, who said that he wanted to donate $130 million so that the military can be paid while the government is shut down, but the government doesn't have to not be shut down and the military can be paid. And then we find out that Tim Mellon's family had just been sued just like, I don't know, a few days ago, I think, that the suit was filed, that they were served. His family's bank funded a lot of Little E, and I think John Casablanca and maybe Jean-Luc Brunel. There's things in this book. I'm so glad that I'm reading it because it confirms one of my theories that Virginia might have started working at Mar-a-Lago prior to when she was 16, prior to the year, do they say 2000 or do they say 1999? She was born in 83. I think they're saying the year 2000 was when she was recruited from Mar-a-Lago or snatched or, scooped up, stolen, whatever you want to call it. But at some point that I just read through, she said in one of her depositions that she thought she was 15 years old and that it was 1998. And then she tried to correct herself and said, no, she was 16 years old. It was 1999. But they try to say that she was almost 17 and that it was the year 2000. And it wasn't that long after she'd been getting trafficked by Ron Eppinger. And a lot of people try to say that there's no way that DJT and Little E knew Ron Eppinger. But yeah, they did. It has it recorded in Virginia's book. And let me just say this. Let me just be completely outrageous in my crazy conspiracy theory opinion. I think this book is what got her Epsteined. That wouldn't be a first, would it? This book is burning the house down. So Anna Bees, I think for you, reading this book will give you a lot of hope. There's so much in here, not just the job of blowing that Jiz gave to George Clooney. There's so many things in here. And, Obama's in here, sadly. Chelsea Handler's in here, sadly. But you know what? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Come out with it. Al Gore's in here. Like, they're not mentioning that those people that I just said did anything in particular, but they were hanging out with these freaks. So it's very questionable. It's very sus, bad behavior. We can only wish immaturity. Yeah, absolutely. Immaturity, but the poor impulse control is a characteristic of mental health disorders as well as personality disorders. And the El Presidente does not have good impulse control. That's obvious. But he shows that in a lot of different things that he does, like when he's like spitting out lung tonsil stone things. And then he doesn't even just say, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, that was gross. What was that? Like a normal person would. He just tries to like pretend it didn't happen. What, is he that out of it that he doesn't realize it when he's like hawking up a stone and it's flying? And out of his face in front of somebody else's. Like, that's even more disgusting if he's really not noticing. But he notices, and he's just too stupid to know how to handle a situation like that. I mean, social skills are hard. It's hard for all of us, but you just do your best, right? I am going to read it. Good. It's so gross when he spits and shits himself. Billy, isn't that every day? Isn't that every day? And yeah, I mean, it can happen to anybody, and it happens to all of us from the time that we're born. But yeah, just like clean yourself up, take control of yourself, deal with it. You have a whole staff. Change your effing diaper more often, sir. And yeah, if he wore a COVID mask, then he wouldn't be spitting his freaking tonsil stones at people. But he probably likes to. He probably enjoys it. So yeah, there was a lot more that I wanted to talk with you about in the book and that I wanted to read to you. So let's see how much I can power through before I have to wrap up. There's a lot. I don't want to have to power through. I want to just hang out with my people. So Ehud, how do you say it? Ehud Barak was very likely the person that was so violent towards Virginia that she talks about. But I think she says a prime minister, or no, she says former prime minister of the country that starts with an I. But the book says that person was the defense secretary. So maybe they were prime minister at one point, but they were the defense secretary. I don't know. But I just wanted to point that out. Also, I wonder how much evidence is destroyed in the East Wing coming down, because it reminds me of Idaho 4 and the destruction of the 1122 King Road residence. Was there evidence in there, like maybe of the transporting of people, the doing of rugs? I mean, there's a lot of like Scarface type of stuff. Was there like Scarface parties going on since Melania wasn't occupying that space? Were they doing like full-blown Scarface in the East Wing? Is that what that was? So then they just had to burn it down because you can't get that smell out of the walls once you've been manufacturing meth, I guess. I don't know. I think it's supposed to smell like ammonia, like a cat box. He's so gross every day. Yeah. I might have to dip abruptly when the doctor comes in. Oh yeah, absolutely understandable, Annabise. So Katie Couric was another one who was at a little E party. I'm like, no, not Katie. She's one of my favorite content creators right now. She's awesome. Charlie Rose, not a surprise. George Stephanopoulos, surprise. I mean, he's also one of the good ones. Woody Allen and his wife, Soon-Yi. What? Woody Allen hung out with Jeffrey? Shocking, isn't it? Who would have thunk? Yeah. Lots of world leaders, lots of prime ministers, lots of presidents. So we've got former presidents of this country that Virginia Giuffre knew personally, like Bill, like Don. I was thinking too how specific Virginia, they call her Jenna. That's what everyone calls her in real life when she was alive. So Jenna and Amy Wallace, who is her ghostwriter, they talk about how for Jenna doesn't make any accusations towards the Donald. She says that she never saw him on Little E's Island and that she wasn't transported to him and that she didn't see anybody else get transported to him. But that's very specific. She never saw him on the island. and she didn't get transported to him. She didn't see other people getting transported to him. So in my mind, she's saying that she saw him a lot. And she had made accusations against him. She withdrew those accusations. She did the old, I don't remember. And a handful of other victims made accusations towards him. And I can only imagine the threats and the payouts. I mean, the payouts are crazy, you guys. And when somebody accepts payment from the little E bank accounts or from somebody like Alan Dershowitz or El Presidente, when somebody takes a payment, they sign a non-disclosure agreement. So, so again, if you have the money, you can do anything you want, right? It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Oh, the name of Little E's business, his business, where he went to work every day only 6 days a week when he was in jail, and I laugh, in 2008, because it's like laugh or cry. The name of that company, it was like a pop-up company where he was abusing, graping kids while he was serving his time. The name of the company that he called where he went to abuse minors was the Florida Science Foundation. And I'm sure he thought that was a hoot, right? Let's see. Detailing the fight for the victims. Brad Edwards. Brad Edwards is a Florida attorney who wrote a book where he's, here, let me read. I think I wrote the page number down where the name of the book is on 218. That's the next book I want to read, I think. Yes, here it is. So this was a book that Brad Edwards wrote in 2020, and I've seen Brad Edwards speak. He's very passionate about fighting for the victims. In his 2020 book titled Relentless Pursuit, My Fight for the Victims of Jeffrey Epstein, Edwards wrote that he believed that because Jenna had traveled extensively with little E and had been transported broadly by him, that Jenna held the key, quote, held the key to unlocking another level of little E's depravity, end quote. He wanted to speak with her, so he passed along a few leads that he had, and there was a journalist, an investigative journalist named Sharon Churcher, that he tried to get Jenna to speak with, and she did. And so I think that that's really profound, that he literally thought that Virginia or Jenna knew more than anyone else, more than any other of the victims that he knew of. And I think he's right. But that's another reason why I think that writing this book is what cost her her life. I really do. I'm convinced. Let's see. I don't know what it smells like. Don't know what smells like. That one is of course he did. All these rich people are, sick freaks. So I've got my candles burning again. I love to burn them to get good smells. The honey one is my favorite. And then this is the one that somehow I got a bunch of the wax on me yesterday, the strawberry one. Isn't that weird how you like spill stuff and you don't even realize it? Especially wax. It's easy to do. Anyway, what else? I'm going backwards in my my notes here. Charlie Kirk bought a condominium in 2019 in Longboat, Florida, or I think it's right outside of Sarasota. I think it's like Longboat Island or something, and the name of the condominium. It's a very big, like, skyscraper kind of condo, Longboat. And he met Erica in 2018. So there's this channel that I've watched a little bit of, and I can't think of her name off the top of my head. She calls herself a psychic, and she just dropped a video, I think it was this morning, about this thing that I'm talking about the condominium. Let me see if I can pull up her name. Dang it. Come on. It's so hard. That's the inside Trump theme, inside Trump's head theme. It's so hard doing it with one hand. What was her name? Is Audrey Raffalini. Are you guys familiar with her? So she calls herself a psychic, and she's kind of just intuitive and smart, in my opinion. But she was saying that she had visions of this condominium. I think she was saying that Charlie was like coming to her and telling her about it, and that she thought that there were like documents or something in the condominium that people were looking for, which is entirely possible. I really think that his assassination was what you might call tongue-in-cheek friendly fire. I think he was a sacrificial lamb. I think that dear leader turned him into a martyr, and he said that before and trigger warning, before the body was even cold. He was like, oh yeah, Charlie's a martyr. It's just like, don't you have some construction to do? You're just not good at this whole human thing. Oh, and then Donnie pardoned his daughter's husband's dad. You probably know this, you guys. Charlie Kushner. He pardoned him in 2022. And then in 2020. Donnie pardoned Charlie Kushner in 2020. So Jared Kushner's dad. Alice Marie Johnson. Not only did he pardon her, and she was like, I think, a Coca-Cola dealer, maybe in Tennessee, like big time. I think she was busted in like the mid to late 90s. I think she served about 20 years hard time, but she was supposed to be in prison until the day she died. She got pardoned. She got released. And now he invented a job for her this year, and she is the pardon czar for our government. Alice Marie Johnson, the only Black woman that he's pardoned. But why? Why would he just go around pardoning some big Coca-Cola dealer? I thought he was like into blowing them up without a trial, I don't know. Just watching the clock here. And I think that he's a kingpin. I think that he's kind of the same thing as Alice Marie Johnson. Maybe that's why he pardoned her, so that she wouldn't give him up or his cohorts. And I have this fantasy that, in my opinion, that possibly our president has been threatened, that if those e-files do get released, if the Trumpstein files do get released, that he's going down, and so is all of the people that he cares about. So maybe there is some external pressure being applied from, his friends like BB and Daddy Vladdy, right? That it's like they're holding his feet to the fire. Like, if you can't protect us, like, there's no if, which to me makes sense why he's freaking out so profoundly. Right now, he's just like the Tasmanian devil in this whirlwind of chaos, demolishing the White House, demolishing the country, every day blowing things up, dropping poop on people. I mean, anything and everything, dropping bombs literally on people in their boats, taking them out without any evidence that's, I mean, he's committing war crimes, but he's just doing anything that he can to create chaos, to distract from these freaking Epstein files. And, I've heard a couple of people in the last 24 or 48 hours online talking about this horrible idea that I have, which is that he's going to try to prevent our government from ever getting reopened again, because it's been his goal all along to completely gut our country so that he can serve it up to Daddy Vladdy on a silver platter, sort of like the cat that brings you the dead mouse on your doorstep. That's him, right? So yeah, these are the thoughts that I'm sure Anna B's you're probably having, and it's like, man, we're screwed. But hopefully, fingers crossed, there are enough people in positions of power who are not bending the knee to him, who are holding him accountable. And even though it takes time for them to do the policy and procedural movements that they need to make, like through the courts, it's happening. It's happening. And yeah, I mean, every day you hear about somebody trying to get him impeached, right? Because once he's impeached, then he can be charged with crimes. I mean, he's not completely untouchable like he thinks he is. But the longer that it goes on and the more destruction that happens, the harder it's going to be to undo the mess that he's been making. And man, is he just like a temper tantrum 2-year-old, just terrorizing the country? OMG. Exactly why off yourself after writing your memoirs. I think they offed her, RIP Virginia. Yeah, I honestly do too, Billy. And I think that the people around her, like her ghostwriter and her family, that they have to make it airtight, that there's not a possibility of anything other than self-harm in their efforts to protect themselves and their families and their loved ones from having the same thing happen to them. I mean, the Royals, the Donald, BB, Vladdy, these are all people that she can remember exactly what they did. Alan Dershowitz, she can remember exactly what they did. And she can retract her statements that she's made against them. But other people have made allegations against them that have also been threatened and also retracted. Oh, hold on one sec. Hey, hon. I thought you were just going to wait. Okay. See you soon. Love. Bye. Okay. I don't want to wrap up. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, I don't know what meth smells like. Yeah, Annabee's, I mean, I haven't cooked it up myself, but I've heard that that's what it smells like. And that once you've cooked it up in your place, you're never going to get that smell out. So I guess you can make it with Sudafed. I don't know. I mean, it's not a laughing matter, right? We can learn more about it by watching Breaking Bad, probably. I mean, my husband knows a lot about it. He's gone into a lot of those places. So yeah, the mass chaos. Let me read to you another paragraph, the first paragraph on page 159. And I am going to have to wrap up in just a second, but I'll try to squeeze in as much as my notes as I can. What did I say? Last paragraph? First paragraph on 159. From the start, Robbie and I had a different connection than any I'd experienced before. Oh, yeah, her hubby. For one thing, Robbie was straightforward. How he wanted to know, could a 19-year-old massage student afford such swank accommodations at a 4-star hotel? This was like their third date, and they were in her hotel room. We were sitting in my room, just the two of us, when he asked that question, and suddenly I wanted to tell the truth. After a lifetime of toggling between two modes, run and survive, I wanted more than mere survival, and I was tired of running. Against all logic, something in me already believed this could be a relationship with real potential, a relationship that I didn't want to F up. And the more I talked to Robbie, the more I felt that way. I was sick of keeping secrets, of hiding what my life was really like. So I took a deep breath and told him that I worked for a rich, powerful man who essayed me, that this man had a female partner who enabled and orchestrated an army of young women and girls to service him. Army of young women and girls to service him. And that he and she lent me out to their friends, some of whom had hurt me beyond measure, and that I was deeply afraid of them. So let me add here that in the reading of the book so far, I actually don't suspect that Robbie was instructed to sweep her off her feet, like I had spoken about up until right now. So far, I don't suspect that, but I'm still not convinced that he didn't get co-opted after the fact. So, and that's just my opinion. Now I bit my tongue. So a couple of real important points that I wanted to make about what I just read, what they went through as a couple. So he was 7 years older than her. She was 19. I think he was 26 when they met. They got married, I think, 10 days after they met. I think he proposed to her on day 7. And even with that rapid lightning speed, from what I've read in the book, but again, this could just be that Virginia was even at the end of her life still not knowing the full picture. Like, I highly suspect that El Presidente, Little E, Ron Eppinger, and Virginia's father, that they all had conversations about sharing her and doing each other favors that she, to this day, to her dying days, was unaware of. I mean, so before I wrap up, quickly, I want to talk about the, for my thumbnail yesterday, I put the photograph that I used for my thumbnail for today too, which is Erica and the group of kids from Romanian Angels, and that freak that I was talking about yesterday. What's his name? The one, Phil Lyman. That freak and a couple other freaks are all in that picture. But the way the kids are all lined up in the picture, and they're all barefoot and they're all wearing shorts, it's very eerily similar to a painting that Little E had of these little girls that look like they range in age from like 3 to 5, maybe 6 at the oldest. And they're all wearing bikinis, or maybe one piece, maybe one or two of them is in a one-piece bathing suit. Not only are they lined up barefoot with their legs and their cute little bodies showing, but they have spotlights on them. And it wasn't until looking at the picture that I used that picture again for a thumbnail today. But the one in the thumbnail yesterday has the two pictures that I'm talking about side by side. So look at that. It's so freaky. And I'm thinking that that photograph, which is from a Romanian Angels pamphlet, that's the way you line up the slaves at the slave trade, the way the little girls are in the painting and the way these kids are in this photograph with Erica and Phil Lyman and a few of these other dirtbags. I think that that's one of the things that happened on Epstein Island. And it's my suspicion, this is purely my intuition, that that's one of the things that happened in that weird Egyptian looking building up on the cliff, the blue and white striped one with the fake door that was painted on, that was like the slave trading block in there. And that people would go there, they would go to Little Island to shop, or like whatever they ordered out of the catalog, but they could then go make sure that they didn't want to get something other than what they ordered from the catalog, if you catch my drift. But RA, this is gross, you guys, trigger warning. Romanian Angels. You know how we say SA all the time when we're talking about ex abuse? People say RA when they're talking about ritualistic abuse. That image of those wings that are more like horns, or women's legs, again, trigger warning, or like a cloak, the white wings that are so bizarre looking, and then it has the RA at the top. That whole image is so sick and twisted and eerie. And I want you to look at it. I think I used it in one of my thumbnails recently. It might even be, let me see if I look at all of my videos from lately. Where did I use that, that RA image? Or maybe it's in a, here it is. Let's see. What's the date on this one? Let me turn the volume off and just look at Too Many Coincidences, Snake Eyes and Erica Kirk's Romanian Angels. The date of this video is September 29th. So a month ago. Today's the 27th. And I'm going to show you, if I can, the, I don't know if I'll be able to show you. Sorry, my stupid technological challenges. I'm so lame. But I do want to show it to you. I can always pull it up a different way if I don't have it here in my photos. But I should, right? There it is. Okay. Here we go. So the image from her little pamphlet, RA. That's not RA for Romanian Angels, in my opinion. That's RA for ritualistic abuse. And those wings don't look like wings. Like wings, like when you're doing like angel wings, like you would be for something Romanian Angels, they're more like uplifting. Do you see how like dark, not just the black underneath, but just the dark, like the downward energy? And again, trigger warning, but doesn't the white part look like a woman's legs? I'm so sorry to critique it like this, but also it's a lot like a Rorschach. It's a lot like a Salvador Dali painting. You know, the painting where you've got like the two people's profiles, and then in the void between the two profiles, it's like a wine glass. So is it two people's profiles or is it a wine glass? You kind of have that same thing going on right here. The upside down, like a chalice, that big white part in the middle, if you flip it upside down, so where it has the RA for ritualistic abuse, which I'm sure that's what this is advertising for. But that chalice is also a symbol in ritualistic abuse. And then the darkness under the wings kind of looks a little demonic, kind of looks a little monstrous, but it's also very Rorschach-esque. You know, Rorschachs are like those blot images that have been used for psychological testing for a long time. You know, they just show you black ink and it's like, what do you see here? And whatever you see is like a projection. But don't spend too much time looking at this, because when you spend too much time looking at this stuff that we see online, it does mess with our heads. It does make us nuttier than fruitcakes, right? You guys still going? Hi, Sherry. Oh, Sherry's here. Sorry. And I'm going to have to wrap. Nice to see you all. So nice to see you. So let me wrap it up after I make sure I spoke about the all of it. Yeah. Oh, the S&M books. Little E ordered S&M books. So when they raided his properties, there were at least 3 S&M books. He had just been starting to explore S&M when Jenna got away from the situation. And, oh, this is so gross. In the bathrooms of his residences, he had soaps that were shaped like private parts. Soaps that were shaped like private parts. So on that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. And I'm sorry to have to sign off so quickly. Let me just say, too, I think that Erica Kirk and Lindsay Halligan, you know, the attorney, Lindsay Halligan and Erica Kirk that were in that Colorado beauty pageant in 2009. I think Lindsay got 3rd place and Erica got 4th place runner up. And it was like the 2010 pageant winners, but they do them at the end of 2009. And then we have Erica and Lindsay back as central pieces in Dear Leader's life right now. I'm going to take a wild guess that they were part of the supply chain of getting girls from the pageants funneled over to the Trumpster Fire modeling agency, you know, where Erica was a model and, how did she phrase it? Model and actress, director, or something stupid like that. Anyway, Erica and Lindsay have a lot of dirt on our president, which is why he's got to keep them really close right now. And them winning 3rd and 4th places. And then it was the following year, 2011. So maybe it was 2010 that they won that, because it was just the year before Erica won for Arizona. So they won that at the end of 2010 for the 2011 titles of Colorado. Sorry if this is confusing. And then at the end of 2011, Erica won the title of Miss Arizona for 2012. And then casting director, modeling and casting director is what she said she did in New York City. And then when she won the title for the 2012 Miss Arizona, then that put her in the Miss USA pageant. So the national pageant, the Miss USA, is the one that our president owned. I don't think he owned the state ones. I don't know how all that stuff goes, but, you know, he did feel obligated to sleep with the contestants, you know, because he's such a generous man. Anyway, we'll talk more about that. I'm very suspicious that Erica and Lindsay fed pageant girls to Little E and Little T's pipeline of transporting. So that's my opinion, and I'm allowed to have an opinion, and I would imagine that you guys agree. And I really think I hit it right on the head. It's just, you know, we're so bamboozled by all the effery We all know this. We just can't put words to it because we're too busy living our lives. All right. Love you. See you soon. Hopefully tomorrow. Have a really good evening and take good care of yourself. And again, sorry to have to wrap up. I got to go run to do some family stuff. Have a great night.